The time is now 6 o'clock, and I would like to call the Rock County Board of Supervisors meeting to order at this time. Second order of business, invocation and pledge of allegiance. It will be led by Supervisor Tillman. Will we all please stand?
Heavenly Father, we stand before you, united in the mission of public service. It's with a servant heart that we work to exhibit leadership and the highest level of integrity and compassion. We ask that you guide each of us by providing this board with the wisdom and understanding necessary to fulfill the challenge of making decisions that best serve our community. We value trust, and with your guidance, Lord, hope to foster collaboration as we address issues related to the varying needs of our community members. We strive to maintain an attitude of gratitude. As faithful believers, we are grateful for your presence in our lives, Lord. Watch over and protect those serving in our armed forces, law enforcement, corrections, and emergency services. Guide all government leaders towards working together to problem solve and attain solutions at the local, state, and federal levels. We are profoundly grateful for and acknowledge the job dedication of our county employees. We ask that you watch over each of them and their loved ones. May you bless us as we serve the needs of others while keeping you in our hearts. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item, please.
Next item is roll call. Bob Zine.
Here.
Belkey.
Present.
Bostwick.
Here.
Bryan.
Here.
Cullen. Fugelseth. Gorman.
Present.
Holman.
Here.
Knutson. Marshall.
Here.
Mawhinney.
Here.
Pier.
Present.
Pennycook. Rashkin. Ringhan.
Here.
Ryan. Schneider. Scholes.
Here.
Schwartz. Stevens. Stone.
Here.
Sutter.
Here.
Sutherland.
Here.
Tillman.
Here.
Towns.
Here.
Whitledge.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
Woodman. Levy.
Here.
25 present, 4 absent.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is 4, consent agenda. 4A, adoption of agenda.
Raskin's here.
Thank you. Adoption of agenda. Approval of minutes from October 23rd, 2025. Nominations, appointments, and confirmations. C1, appointments to the Housing Authority. C2, appointments to the Prairie Lakes Library System. D, recognition of county employees or others. D1, recognizing Jeff Beeler for service to Rock Haven. 2, recognizing Sue Bowe for service to Rock Haven. 3, recognizing Greg Winkler. 4, recognizing Tarek O'Connor. E1, acknowledging and accepting donation from the Badger Courthawks Chorus in the amount of $20,000 on behalf of Rock County Veterans Donation Trust. 2, extending the deadline for the work group to study the high nitrate levels in Rock County's groundwater to 2030. Accepting public health infrastructure grant funds and amending the 2026 Rock County Public Health Department budget. 4, awarding bid for jail and correctional supplies at the Rock County Jail. 5, amending the 2025 Magnolia Therapy and Mentoring Contract for CCS services. 6, adoption of the Rock County 2026 Parks Outdoor Recreation and Open Space Plan. 7, authorizing professional services contract with Dr. Shuhel Shekai for medical director services at Rock Haven Nursing Home. 8, extending authorization of the ad hoc committee on passenger rail development. That is the end of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Would any supervisor like anything removed from the consent agenda? Supervisor Schwartz.
Thanks, Chair. I'd like to move 4E8.
4E. Would any other supervisor like anything removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda? Motion by Mawhinney, second by Tillman. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Next item, please.
Next item is 5, public hearing. There is no public hearing this evening. Item 6, citizen participation, communications, and announcements. I did not see any slips filled out. Is there anyone that wishes to speak this evening?
Seeing none, is there any communication from supervisors? Supervisor Boswick?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's hard to believe it's been 6 months since I made a similar announcement, but soon, my church, Trinity Episcopal Church, right across the street, will be providing support for the Gifts Men's Shelter here in Janesville, and we need people to help run the intake desk from 5 till 9 o'clock. Men or women are eligible to help us out and lend a hand. Our run goes from December 7th through the 20th. If you are interested, please contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Bob Zane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One of the items on the consent agenda I just want to acknowledge, and that is the Badger Court Hawks Chorus donating $20,000 to the Rock County Veterans Donation Trust. They hold patriotic concerts in the summer and pass the hat, and they donate the proceeds to the veterans. And the donation trust is an emergency fund for veterans. They can come right off the street, say, I need my car repaired, can I have some money? And no questions asked, and the bill gets paid. And I just want everyone to know what a wonderful thing the Badger Court Hawks have done, and like many other organizations in our county. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Tillman, did you have something? Supervisor Mawini?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I should have done this last night, and I was a little remiss in that. But I'd like to thank our finance director and our administrator for putting the budget together. It was a hard job. It was a good job. And thanks to all the department heads for all the hard work that they did.
Thank you. Any other supervisor? Seeing none before, I would like to piggyback on that and just to say to the supervisors, thank you for a very fruitful discussion last night as well. As I often say, that's how we move the county forward, and that's how we grow together as a team, that we continue to challenge each other and have that fruitful discussion as we had last night. So I want to thank everyone for that as well. Any announcement from staff? Lisa?
So at your desk, there's a lovely packet, and that is the candidate packet if you would like to run for office again. If you need help filling that out, our office always will help you. I'm going to warn you, though, don't come tomorrow morning till after 10:30 because I will not be there. When you fill that out, you're filling it out as if it's amended. Now, if you don't want to run again, you also have non-candidacy papers. I have those here tonight if you'd like, or you can stop in our office also. You can't take out any signatures until December 1st. If you need another copy, it's always on our website. If you need, there's a candidate information packet there also. That's all I have.
Any other staff?
No.
Seeing none, next item, please.
Next item, item 7, nominations, appointments, and confirmations. We do not have any further. Item 8, recognition of county employees or others. 8A, recognizing Cassie Shenley.
Is there a motion? Motion by Schwartz. Is there a second? Second by Knutson. Any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Supervisor Tillman.
Good evening, everyone. I'm pleased to be here on behalf of the Public Safety and Justice Committee and the entire County Board to recognize Cassie Shenley, who is leaving us to go to Dane County, or has left us to go to Dane County. So I'll share some tidbits from the resolution. She served the citizens of Rock County for the past 17 years, and she resigned on October 15th. She began her career with Rock County as a child support clerical worker on September 8th of 2008, and she was promoted to clerk typist 3 in July of 2009, and then a child support reimbursement specialist in March of 2011. She's been knowledgeable about the agency's paternity and establishment processes, played an important role in helping the agency exceed the performance standards set by the state in these performance measures, and she prides herself on customer service. So, service not only to our county population, but also to building bridges and partnerships within our community. She will continue to serve in the child support community, as I said, in Dane County, and continue making a valuable contribution to the program. So whereas the Rock County Board of Supervisors, representing citizens of Rock County, wish to commend Cassie Shinley for her many years of dedicated service with Rock County, and now therefore be it resolved, the Rock County Board of Supervisors duly assembled this 13th day of November 2025 does hereby recognize Cassie for her years of service and extends their best wishes to her in her future endeavors. So we hate to lose you, but we understand. So and I'll let Melissa Whitwer, our Director of Child Support, come up.
Yep, I just want to thank Cassie for her dedicated 17 years of service. Certainly understand accepting a new challenge in a different agency. Appreciate that she still is serving the families, the child support families across the state with her knowledge of the paternity and established processes. She definitely will continue making a valuable contribution to the child support program. So just thank you for all of the years you served us. Continue to be a valuable contribution to our program too, providing that outreach and things. So thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
No, I just really appreciate it. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time in Rock County. I've made I hope, a good contribution to our participants, children's and family of Rock County, and I'm looking forward to continuing that in Dane County, but thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Next item, please.
Next item, item 9, introduction of new resolutions or ordinances by supervisors for referral to appropriate committee.
At this time, if there's any supervisor who has a new resolution or ordinance, please bring it forward at this time, and I'll allow you a couple of minutes to speak to it. Any supervisor? Seeing none, next item, please.
Next item, item 10, reports. 10A, medical examiner's office report.
Dr. Regalska?
No, not at all. Nope. All right. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Agnieszka Rogalska. I am the Chief Medical Examiner of Dane County, also serving Rock. So I am your Chief Medical Examiner. We're lagging a little bit behind. I think we weren't scheduled for the reports with some of the other groups, so I apologize if we're going out of turn and a little bit late. This is just a brief summary of things that have happened in the last year at the medical examiner's office. Also, for any new supervisors, just a little bit about the Rock County Medical Examiner's Department, what it is, and why Dane is involved. So, in 2015, Dane County and Rock County partnered through an intergovernmental agreement to serve the citizens of Rock County with by the formation of a physician-led medical examiner system. Wisconsin allows for elected coroner medical examiners, or also appointed medical examiners. So you can either be a coroner or medical examiner. By profession, I'm a forensic pathologist. By title, I am a medical examiner. Doctors are fairly expensive. I probably don't need to tell you that. And it requires something in the realm of 500 or 600 or more autopsies in order to be able to really pay for those kinds of services. Rock County isn't there, but they certainly have access to us in Dane, which is something that a lot of the counties are going to, some sort of a referral service. So some counties in the north will be taking their autopsies and maybe getting some assistance in Michigan, Iowa, Minnesota. But there are only a few medical examiners' offices in the state of Wisconsin that are run by physicians, and ROC is really one of 5 clusters. So we have Milwaukee, Fond du Lac, Waukesha, Green Bay now, which was under Dane initially and broke off, and then Dane and ROC as well under the umbrella of Dane County. So what does this intergovernmental agreement mean? It means, like I said, that I am your chief medical examiner. This means that I essentially am the department head. I make decisions about the medical necessities or the medical direction of the medical examiner's office. What I do as a forensic pathologist is I perform medical legal autopsies to determine the cause and the manner of death. I testify to those cases as necessary. I prepare autopsy reports, and we're also involved in the training and the decision-making on scenes for the investigators. And this is just an overview directly from the IGA about what it is that we provide. So you can see here the highlighted in kind of a light green. Those are positions that are held by Dane County staff, specifically the administration. So myself, the director of operations, who is essentially my right-hand person, who is the administrator of the office and takes care of all the administration, her deputy, and then also all the medical examiners. So essentially, for the cost of the intergovernmental agreement, Rock County has access to all of these professionals and all of the doctors that we have on staff at the medical examiner's office. The Rock County Medical Examiner's Department, however, is its own department. You have your own employees. These are the investigators, the individuals who take the phone calls, go to the scenes, make those assessments, work with us in order to make the decisions about which cases come in or don't come in. If they're senior enough, they're making those decisions independently. But it does take away a lot of the administration. They don't really handle the scheduling, the budget, any of those sort of larger issues for the medical examiner's office. And of course, they wouldn't be able to perform an autopsy. So these are just some of the administrative services. They're all in the intergovernmental agreement, and this is a small synopsis of them. So what do? So we directly manage, like I said, the investigators. We train them. We supervise them in the sense that we talk about policies, procedures, protocols. We alert Rock County to any concerns that we might have with performance for any of the individuals. If there is disciplinary action that is handled by Rock County, your HR department, we manage all of the records. We are required by state statute to maintain records, but also to release some of those. And we make sure that only appropriate records are released, and we make sure that they're released to the appropriate people. So you can't just call in and say, hey, I'd like a copy of this report. We need to find out if somebody is qualified to have that. We make sure that Rock County is functioning within the best practices as directed by national guidelines and best practice expectations. We make recommendations for hiring, so we will be at the interviews for hiring new individuals. We talk about qualifications, background. We make some suggestions on who we feel would be a good fit for the office. We also host the investigators in Dane County. They also get training in Rock County, but the fact of the matter is that in Dane County, we just have a lot more people. And anytime you have a lot more people, you're going to have a lot more deaths. So they get more experience in a quick, usually a 5 or 6 week period, much faster than they would in Rock County. Couple things that are new, and those are the squares at the bottom. These are things that that Dane County has always provided, but it really hasn't been parceled out in the intergovernmental agreement that we thought really should be addressed, and that is the amount of time that administration spends. In the IGA, it talked about 12 hours of oversight, and that's in the office, but there's no way that you can run an office if you're only spending 12 hours a week looking at that, or 12 hours a month. The administrators are on call 24/7, along with the doctors. So if an investigator is on a scene or in the office and they have any kind of a question, somebody is available to answer that question. That's everything from a flat tire to a partner to a family member to the investigator being overwhelmed. We also provide scene response. So even for all homicides, the doctors will go to the scene. If there's a case that's concerning to the investigator, we respond to the scene. If we can't resolve any questions on scene, then we will respond as well. And that includes a doctor as well as an administrator. The administrator is the person that stays outside as a liaison to law enforcement to talk about those things that we have to consider that we probably don't want to trouble the investigator and the doctor with in the moment, such as, you can talk to law enforcement and use that time to find out who the next of kin is. Has somebody informed them? Those are the questions where if the captains are there, you can start talking about if you're going to do a press release and when and how and those kinds of the logistical parts of any scene investigation that really you don't think about very much, but is always going on behind the scenes. We're also going to take over annual training. And of course, we always have training on policies and procedures, but we'll talk a little bit more about what specific training we're going to be implementing in 2026 later on in the presentation. We're also responsible for office growth and development and presentation. So we are the ones that work on the budget and discuss that with supervisors and with the executive. We also oversee, with the help of facilities, the building projects and making sure that we have the appropriate equipment and the professional growth of the staff, making sure that they're going to conferences, working out schedules so that everybody can go. These are the pathology services that we provide. So that was administration, this is pathology. So in addition to performing an autopsy, we will also so that's square, the last green square at the bottom. So an autopsy-related service would be, let's say that Brock County had considered contracting with a pathologist just for autopsy service and none of the rest of this. What that usually entails is the performance of the autopsy and the documentation, the creation of a report, and sometimes interpretation of those findings. Usually what happens for a fee-for-service is you give the anatomic findings, and you may or may not give a cause and manner of death. That's something that the individual coroner or medical examiner does. Well, through the IGA, we do that, but we also give you a definitive cause and manner of death. As the medical examiner, it's my responsibility to do that. I will sign the death certificate. I will interpret the histology. I will review any medical records, law enforcement information, investigations in order to come to that conclusion. In addition, we will testify as part of our jobs. This is an additional fee that you're paying for a medical examiner. We are your medical examiner, and so we testify on behalf of Rock County if needed in criminal cases and sometimes in civil cases as well. The doctors, as I've already mentioned, also respond to scene. We establish protocols and we review those protocols to make sure that everything is running smoothly and efficiently for the investigators. We give feedback in the immediate moment to an investigator when they're training. They have to pass all of the information to a doctor first before they can answer how the case is going to be disposed. So basically, they can get a call from the hospital because we have certain reporting criteria and somebody has a history of, let's say, suicidal ideations. The new investigator will call a doctor and say, this is what we have, this is their past medical history, social history, this is how they presented, this is what they're seeing on the body, et cetera, and work through that case. And usually, most investigators graduate to the next level of independence within about 6 months. Within 6 months to a year to become fully independent to make decisions about harder cases and on scenes. But until that time, there's a doctor on the other end of the phone saying, yep, this is good, you did a good job, this is what I would focus on, these are some of the other questions, these are the things that you need to work on. So there wasn't any change there. And then what did the last year look like for us? As some of you maybe who've been on the board for a little bit longer knew that 22 to 24 has become somewhat difficult for us. We had short staff here in Rock and in Dane. We had a lot of backlog and we're very much working hard on that, and I think we've got everything up and through 24 or the third quarter of 24 completed. So what's the new stuff that's come in 2024? It can broadly be divided into two general categories. The medical examiner's office is one of the few departments that is actually revenue generating, and that is through the issuance of permits. Very few disinterment permits or anything else, but cremation permits are the most common sort of permit that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. We had a little over 1,000 of those. More than half of them are cases in which we are not actively involved. What does that mean? State statute mandates that the medical examiner's office or the coroner of a county has to view the body in order to determine that it can be cremated, meaning that the cause of death makes sense with the findings that you have on the body, that you're not accidentally allowing for the cremation of evidence should it end up being a criminal court case or a civil court case. And more than half of what we do for those permits are cases that have nothing to do with what we would normally take jurisdiction on. 546 other cases, we do cremation permits for cases that were actually ours or that we investigated. 81 of those permits were waived because the funeral home applied for and received a WFCAF waiver. That's the Wisconsin Funeral Home and Cemetery Aids program. It's essentially funding provided by the state for a funeral home to provide a family with a cremation should they not be able to pay. This is not the same as unclaimed remains. This is somebody where there's a family, the family member or the decedent qualifies, either they're on Medicare, Medicaid, a state program, veterans, I think in some cases, but not all of them. They have specific criteria and those people qualify for this program. We do have quite a few unclaimed remains, more than we've ever had, to the point where we've actually lost room in our cooler and our freezer this year and had to, we had to come close to, we did rely on resources from Dane County in order to house all of our decedents. That's something that's growing in all counties. We're seeing more of that where families are not claiming them. But that's a separate budget issue that we can talk about at some other time. More happy news about the medical examiner's office. We also waive cremation permits for infants. Depending on the age, under 1 year, many infants do not have a viewing. They have to go to cremation, and we waive that permit as well. Then there's the investigative workload. So in addition to reviewing the paperwork and looking at the bodies, these are the calls. The investigators will also receive calls or respond to scenes to determine the disposition, whether somebody needs an examination, whether we can sign out on medical records, or first of all, to determine if it's our jurisdiction. So they received about 850 calls in 2024. Many of these cases are things that we do not take jurisdiction on. Sometimes a hospital just has a mandatory reporting policy and they have to call on all their cases. Sometimes they're just calling to see if it's something that's reportable to the medical examiner's office. And sometimes with some information, we determine that the event actually occurred in another county and we would refer it to them. But in 365 of those cases, we accepted jurisdiction. 200 of them, 205 of them went on to have an examination of some sort. Half of them had autopsies. A little more than half of them had external examinations with radiology and toxicology, because the findings that were visible with the naked eye and identified through radiology answered all of the questions that we would have had about the cause and the manner of death. And we do toxicology on all cases routinely. These are the exam types. You can see that at the end, about half of the cases ended up being naturals. So when we bring them in, it's not because we think they're going to be natural cases. We do a very good job and work hard to make sure that we're not bringing in people who don't necessarily need an autopsy. If there's a family concern of neglect, that's different. But generally speaking, if it's a natural death, that should be the responsibility of the primary care physician. Statutorily, they have an obligation to sign that death certificate. They've been the family physician for who knows how long. They know that patient best. And we do work to make sure that that primary care physician will sign it. However, there are people who we either don't know why they died, they may have had histories that make us concerned that they either had an accident or maybe there was a potential injury involved, somebody who has a history of falling, limited mobility. We want to make sure that we do some sort of examination to make sure they're natural, as opposed to missing somebody who died as a result of an accident, which may have different implications for them depending on their life insurance policies. And it's also for the benefit of the family. They have a right to know the truth about how their loved one died. But in the end, about 87 of them are natural. The next biggest group is accident, and that is the national standard. We'll talk a little bit more about what accident means and what those categories are. We had 8 homicides in 2024 that we investigated. We also had 22 suicides. 3 cases remain undetermined, meaning for us, what it means is there's nothing we can do at this point to determine the cause and the manner of death. These are cases where we can't determine between 2 manners, so we don't know whether somebody died as a result of an accident or there was intention, meaning it was a suicide. Most of these, however, end up being infants. Infant deaths are very tragic, but they're an all too real aspect of the work that we do. And we do see a lot of cases where the science just isn't there to tell us definitively why a child died. These are cases where a child is in an appropriate sleep environment, or an inappropriate sleep environment. They're not on their back. Maybe there's a toy or a blanket, or they're found face down, or they were placed face down. But at the same time, they have underlying natural disease, usually an infection like COVID or RSV, influenza. And the examination under the microscope and at autopsy is equivocal. We can't say what it was. And so those are most genuinely signed as undetermined. And this is how the CDC likes us to classify them. And then they can take this information, because they do abstract the information from reports, to narrow it down further and further. So of the accidental deaths, most of those were overdoses with an illicit substance. Accidents also include things like falls, blunt force trauma, motor vehicle accidents, people chopping down trees, choking. So it includes a very broad category. Even though we are in a Len-biased state where drug overdoses can be prosecuted as potential homicides, we do consider them as accidents to distinguish them from a suicide. They weren't intentionally attempting to kill themselves. They make up the vast majority of our cases. Most of those are either directly opiate related or opiate, sometimes with usually with other substances. I would say at least 50% of them are pure opiate-driven deaths. Then in that opiate category, you also have some where there are opiates and stimulants. And the stimulant that we see most often in Rock County is actually cocaine. So together, about 75, almost 80% of the overdoses in Rock County are as a result of fentanyl, heroin, or some opiate and or cocaine. The remainder include prescription medication abuse and some unusual ingestants, sometimes like the use of gasoline or an unusual type of alcohol. And this is just to give you an idea of where the majority of our calls are coming from. Again, this is just a reflection of population size, right? Bigger cities are going to have greater numbers of people and then greater numbers of cases. What's interesting, though, I will point out, there's the third one down is City of Madison. This does not mean that Rock County is doing autopsies on citizens of Madison or Dane County. These are people who are reported to us from UW Hospital. So they're coming from Madison, theoretically, because they were transported up. Usually they've already hit another hospital beforehand, but were transported up to Madison for a higher level of care. This happens for a lot of traumatic injuries, the motor vehicle accidents, shootings, stabbings, sometimes infants as well. Updates, some of you may know, Mr. Sutherland is here, who's been a tremendous asset to us. We were moved to the UW Extension space, the second building. This was renovated this year, and I can't tell you how appreciative the investigators are. It is a truly beautiful space. They have their own offices that are clean, that are nice, they are quiet. We have a group space for them because we're a 24/7, 365 operation. These kinds of spaces are very important, an opportunity to sit down on a couch, to make your lunch, to make your dinner. Even if it is 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to find a restaurant that's open at that time. And maybe you've been out since 6 o'clock at night and haven't had a chance to eat. Just a nice group space to sit and talk with your colleagues as well. We also have a lovely conference room there, which will allow us to meet with the district attorneys, our partners, for training of the investigators as well. And currently in construction and hoping to see it done soon, I don't think the Rock County was in a position, nobody was in a position to build a new building for the medical examiner's office. But in conjunction with Mr. Sutherland and the architects and engineers and his team, we are actually doing something that's almost better. We are moving our cooler and our freezer, able to move it into this building. There's a tremendous amount of space in the basement, and it turned out to be really amenable for that. So we will have the equivalent of a brand-new building with an overhang. So funeral homes can drop in the overhang. We can perform cremation viewings right there without having to drive necessarily, or if an investigator isn't available, they can drive through at any time. It's nice, it's private. We can have the decedent moved in and out, and it's safe for the investigators because it's right there in the same building. So with great thanks to the county for that, on behalf of the investigators, they really truly appreciate it, and they thank you all very much for that. And then the annual training, just quickly. So annual training is more than just bloodborne pathogens. That is definitely something that we have to do, but the medical examiner's office is under the jurisdiction of the Department of Safety, DSPS, the Department of Safety and Professional Services, not OSHA. DSPS defers to the OSHA guidelines, but there are a lot of things that we should be teaching and training our investigators that maybe the Brock County doesn't have the resources to do. So we do SHARPS training. We have to train them on how to move bodies, body lifts, how to use the cots. Obviously our own internal protocols, but this is something that we are going to be implementing in 2026 and taking over those things of DSPS that are there to protect the investigators, and they should be having on a yearly basis, how to use a PAPR appropriately, which is a positive airway pressure. So it's one of those giant hoods you see on scary movies where the CDC comes in. And lifts, pallet jacks, any kind of equipment that they're using, there should be a training. This protects the investigator, but it also protects Dane County, or no, Dane County. It protects Rock County to make sure that the individuals were trained appropriately and had those resources and had the opportunity to ask questions. So I've gone, I think, a little bit over 12 minutes. I thank you for your time, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Next item is 11, new business. We're going to go back to E8, extending authorization of the ad hoc committee on passenger rail development.
And to get this on the table, is there a motion? Motion by Sutherland, is there a second by Boswick? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none? Any
Wait.
I'm sorry, any
Discussion.
questions? I'm sorry, discussion.
Who's my first and second?
Sutherland and Boswick. I apologize, Supervisor Schwartz.
That's okay, thank you. So a couple questions on this. First off, who's this ad hoc committee report to? What's the standing committee it reports to? Or does it not report to one?
I don't think it reports to, I think it reports directly to the board. I don't have the organic resolution in front of me, but I think the original resolution reported to the board, but I could be wrong. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. As far as this goes as well, if there's no standing committee and this committee keeps getting pushed out, I'm not sure what investigation is still happening. It's either there's a possibility of rail or there isn't. So from my perspective, this really is not something we need to keep extending because we can always bring it back if it's needed, if there is an opportunity in the future. So I'm going to vote no on this.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're gonna do a roll call. Okay, so we do have a motion and a second at this time. Please vote.
Supervisor Bob Z.
I'm really trying.
Do you have Supervisor Schneider?
Wait.
Do you have
Why-
Stevens? What number do you?
I have 13.
Like, she's not here. How did she vote?
I'm like, it's not working. Oh, she's right above me.
You need to redo it. You need to reset it up. We probably need to reset it up. We're gonna do a reset,
Well,
okay?
we're just gonna take Stevens' vote out. So.
Good idea.
So check your numbers. They are your district numbers on your backs of those, by the way.
She can't see.
So yes 17, no 10. So it's going to be yes 16, no 10.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is adjournment.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Boswick, second by Sutherland. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. All in favor? All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none. We are adjourned.